Well, the opening round of the R&G British Talent Cup saw Julian Correa starting on pole position as the 29-rider strong field headed down towards the first corner. Lucas Brown made some good headway, likewise Mason Foster as well, and Filip Sorowiak from the middle of the grid. It was always going to be a tight and fast and frenetic affair, and Emmanuel Brinton, with a lot of experience on Spanish circuits, including this one, was right there on the RS Racing machine on the black and green bike. Lucas Brown also picking his pocket and taking over the race lead at particular points as well. It began to become a five-way scrap out in front. There were a few hairy moments, including that one from Lucas Brown, who nearly sideswiped out onto the back of Emmanuel Brinton. And then this is the moment that defined the race. Three riders down. Brinton into the side of teammate Sorowiak, Mason Foster an innocent victim. It left us with a two-rider tussle out at the sharp end with Julian Correa and Lucas Brown. Brown getting ahead of Correa on this occasion, and to the line, Correa was able to use the slipstream to his advantage and took the victory by just the smallest of margins, 46 thousandths of a second. Well, here we are, ready to go for race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup at the Circuito de Navarra in northern Spain. Very much looking forward to this one after a fast and frenetic affair. There'll be vengeance on the minds of some of the riders, but of course it is still relatively early in the morning, and that means it's pretty cool out there. Just 12 degrees air temperature here, Whit, 11.7 degrees track temperature. What do you reckon that'll do for them?
Well, it gives them a lot more grip. I've just been chatting with the boys now, and even the Superbike chaps are saying exactly the same. The cooler it is here, for whatever quirk, and it happens a lot in Spain and in warm countries in general, the cooler it is, the more grip you've got.
Well, here are the top 6 riders on the grid. We just saw Ryan Frost. There is Mason Foster, retiree from yesterday. Innocent victim, really, sort of caught up in that moment between Brinton and Sorowiak.
Yeah, Filip Sorowiak was an innocent victim, but actually Foster was the most innocent victim. But you said there's a few scores to sell. Not so. They're all sat on deck chairs chatting about the race and all, the best of friends.
Oh, they're all good to go. Well, that's good to know. There is Filip Sorowiak, first time with a team as well this year. He's with RS Racing for 2024. It's his second year in the class. Last year was with a family-run outfit, now over with Ryan Saxelby's squad, and is doing a great job. Starts top 3 in this one. Here is Lucas Brown, man who finished second yesterday by just 46 thousandths of a second, right behind the winner from race 1 on the Microlights Cresswell Racing machine. Julian Correa, he's been waiting to sort of break that duck for a little while to get onto the top 7 of the podium. Couple of other podiums last year, but never in the middle of it. And now he's done that, I think there'll be good confidence.
Yeah, very confident, and I was chatting with him this morning, and I said that I thought he might drop into the group to figure people out so he had a better chance of getting the better of them last couple of laps, and he goes, nah, I know what it's like back there. And actually his theory made a bit more sense than mine. On the bigger bikes, when you've a little bit more kind of, it's not as cut and thrust, well, you would have dropped back and had a bit of a look, but he said, nah, I'm keeping out of that.
Yeah, I like the sound of that for Julian Correa. See what he's going to be able to do here for this race. So the personnel now clearing the grid ahead of the 14-lapper here for the riders. There is Lucas Brown. I want to say he was disappointed to miss out on the victory yesterday, but down in Parc Ferme after the race, he seemed pretty chipper. Yeah,
and the fact that we said his bike looked a little bit slower, he said, yeah, but that's because I'm carrying a bit more weight. He said, my combined, there's a minimum combined weight bike and rider of 148, he's 166.
Right, off onto the warm-up lap we go then. A smorgasbord of Honda NSF 250R machines make their way from the grid.
Yeah, you get a good look from the drone just how beautiful, well, A, this part of the world is, but B, what a facility. And this track is ideally suited to these little bikes, just brilliant. Long straight for a little bit of slipstreaming, and then you've got some real... Actually, the first part of this track, we're coming out of turn 4, you see now, into turn 5 and 6, the big sweeping left, very smooth, lots of grip. This is the faster, more flowing part of this track, the last half of the track, and it is a track of 2 halves, like you said before. Tom, is a real sort of stop-start affair.
Well, there are the championship standings. Of course, they do reflect the results from race 1, so let's see how they're going to change here this morning for race 2. 2 out of 3 races this weekend. Here is the grid then for this second race. Julian Correa starts on pole position with Lucas Brown and Filip Sorowiak for company. Row 2 headed by Emmanuel Brinton, Mason Foster and Ryan Frost alongside behind him. The third row's got Clayton Edmonds, then Harley McCabe and Ronnie Harris. Let's see how the older of the Harris brothers is going to fare, with Peter Willis starting from the back of the field. He begins 10th in this one today, with Charlie Huntingford, a crasher yesterday, and Ollie Walker, another retiree, alongside. Row 5 is the number 71 of Dan Goodman, Benjamin and Harrison Mackay. Row 6, then you've got Joshua Raymond Jr. with Scott McPhee, points yesterday for him, with Alexander Rowan for company, then George Bowes, Eli Banish and the Munson burner, Samuel Munson alongside. Row 8 is Bill Harris, the younger of the Harris brothers, with Ewan Jones and Charlie Barnes. Row 9, Tyler King, Rahesh Khartri and Azay Devine. And then row 10 is completed by Jack Burrows and then Josh Bannister, right down at the back of the field on board the Fibertech Honda. That's the new name for the MLAV racing squad this year. They're fielding 6 bikes in this category.
Half the field. You mentioned Peter Willis had a fuel infringement, and it was, like we said yesterday, this doesn't mean he had some kind of rocket fuel to give him an extra 10 brake horsepower. It was just they used an old tank that had a little bit of a dribble of some kind of other fuel, and that's what made the difference. So a little bit unlucky, and he was keen to point out there was no cheating at all and no mind to cheat.
And he wasn't the only rider who got excluded, actually. There's another lad in Supersport qualifying yesterday who also got bumped to the back of the field for the same thing.
Yep, and it's very easy to do when you're swapping tanks. He might have that's a Supersport lad might have had a road tank because he's damaged one and whatever,
Exactly. Right. Riders then taking to the grid for the second race of the weekend. There is Julian Correa. Can he make it 2 from 2 here this morning?
It's a big ask because this is going to boil down to a group of, I would have said 5 or 6 again. It's a big slipstream in place. That'll keep the groups together. And you've got to be in the right place, right time, but he did a good job yesterday.
29 riders then on the grid, 14 laps of action. There is Mason Foster, the middle of the second row. Just to his right there is Clayton Edmonds. It is all eyes on the lights for the R&G British Talent Cup. Race 2, red lights are on here at Navarra. Lights out and we're underway. Good start from the middle of the front row for the poleman. As we head down towards the first corner, who is going to get the drag in towards turn 1? Well, there is the number 75 of Philip Soroviak on the outside. He slots himself into second place. Brinton made a pretty handy start there as well. Ryan Frost is up in the mix also. They all funnel through the first couple of corners into the first sort of heavy braking zone of turn 3. Soroviak it was who was looking pretty racy, but Julian Correa has now been able to get himself back out in front and leads the way as they head in towards turns 5 and 6 for the first time.
Yeah, brave move from Julian Correa round the outside on turns 2 and 3, and that put him on the inside, which is the right line for turn 4. Good move.
Yeah, nicely done. In towards turn 8 we go. This is the run on towards the long back straight as we watch from the drone. There is Julian Correa out in front. Behind him, Philip Soroviak, then Lucas Brown, then Emmanuel Brinton, then Mason Foster, then there's Ryan Frost, who was away like a stab rat from the line, but seems to have just dropped back a couple of positions at the moment. Turn 9.
Philip Soroviak having a look at Julian Correa there. I chatted with Julian Correa this morning. I said, what's your plan? He said, just the same, keep out of trouble.
Brown on the inside at turn 11 gets the move done on the Sencat Honda, up through into second.
Actually, I think Lucas Brown is probably one of the sort of fastest in terms of rider ability in the group, I think.
Absolutely, and there's a good opportunity here for some other riders as well, like the likes of Clayton Edmonds and Harley McCabe, Ronnie Harris, etc., to learn a lot from these riders as they're all sort of bunched up in this pack at the moment. You can see they're just behind Mason Foster, not quite able to run with the same pace as he was yesterday, as Brinton sends it to the inside of Soroviak at the final turn, gets up into third.
Yep, Brinton is another one of the bigger riders, one of the slightly older riders, sticks out a little bit, and that's a big thing. You'll see, just look how much of the body is sticking out. A little bit of slipstream helping Lucas Brown there. I don't think he's going to get fully past though.
In towards turn 1 we go, side by side here with Lucas Brown versus Julian Correa. Correa has to settle for second best, but slides it to the inside at turn 3. That
is that going to shove him wide? Yes.
Yeah, he's trying as good as he gets. It's only the early stages of the race. The thing is as well, what this is doing for this top 4 is he's just bringing them back now to
everybody else.
Yeah, Mason Foster and so on.
Yeah, if you're in the sort of trailing group, the second group, you're hoping that this kind of thing goes on and then you can get back in the slipstream down that long straight.
Charlie Huntington's had a good start to this race as well. He'll be pretty pleased with where he was on the grid. 11th is where he started, and now he's up into 8th place. He was a crasher yesterday. He's had a couple of big incidents so far this weekend, including a really big off in testing, which meant they had to basically reframe the whole bike and build it from the ground up, such as the damage that he caused. So Charlie Huntingford, the Moto Technics rider, will be hoping for a bit more forward progress as he sits behind Clayton Edwards, a bit further behind these riders.
Yep, down into turn 9. Emmanuel Brinton been a bit steadier there. That's where the incident took place yesterday. It was a big one.
Other riders that have made some good progress. Samuel Munson up 5 places from where he started also as well.
Samuel Munson. The Munson bird. I love that. I love that.
That's the nickname that I got given.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's genius, that.
I love nicknames.
Also, Jack Burrows making some good progress on board the RK Racing Burrows engineering bike as well. He's made up 11 positions from where he started, down in 28th. He's now just on the fringes of the points. I tell you what, Lucas Brown's not hanging around here, is he? He's trying to push on to build a little gap over Julian Correa. You wonder whether that might be in vain, though, because as we come onto this long back straight, or this long start-finish straight, I should say, rather, this is where we'll see the slipstream beginning to take effect.
Yep, he's going under the pit wall. I don't think there's any particular advantage in that. In the old days when I was racing 125s, if you got so close to the pit wall that they were having to shift the pit signal boards, that just put a few people up from behind you, and that's Correa right round the outside, and that was a brave move. Little bit of assistance from the slipstream. That was a brave move, that, Tom.
Yeah, you see him pushing the front end there really heavily in towards turn 3 and ran it slightly wide onto the curb, but managed to gather it up. Correa not shy of getting his elbows out, as we've seen so far this weekend. I thought Brinton was going to dive to the inside of Saroviat there.
He's having a look everywhere. He's had a look 3 or 4 times now, and he's obviously been a little bit careful, because that's where the incident occurred yesterday, a move up the inside.
Yeah, Brinton, one of the few riders with experience around here at Navarra as well. He's grown up in Spain, lives down in Valencia.
Yep, that's it.
And actually, the British circuits for him, a bit of a new kettle of fish. Last year was a lot of new experience of him.
Yeah,
He's never been there.
Yeah.
On the brakes into turn 9, Saroviat goes to the inside of Brinton for 3rd. Does he run it slightly wide? Yes, he does. Brinton says thanks very much, repays the favour, gets himself back into that position. Be a bit careful here, they don't start squabbling too much amongst one another.
On these lower powered bikes, about 50-52 horsepower, it's really difficult to sort of block past somebody, because on a super bike, something with a lot of power, you get the bike stopped, you get it turning, you fire it out. Well, these won't fire out, so you've got to keep that mid-corner speed running. So if you go up the inside of somebody, you've got the wrong line going in for a fast exit, and that gives the other guy a chance to get you going out.
In terms of young riders learning their racecraft, how advantageous is this going to be for them? As they then begin to make progress up the classes.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to alter your racecraft, because this is about aggression. You're rewarded for a little bit of aggression in this class, so it's a little bit different in terms of racecraft to what you'd have in a bigger bike. But they'll learn that as they go on. I mean, they're learning racing with people, respecting people on track for the most part.
You say that. Brinton there, fast
right
as
on cue.
Yeah, I wondered whether he was going to have a look there on the inside of Lucas Brown, but decided that discretion was the better part of valour on that occasion. Lap 4 to 14 we're on, and if it's going to set to be continuing like this, we're in for an absolute cracker.
Yeah, and because these things will not get back on the pace when you open the throttle, they don't jump out the corners because they haven't got the power. If you lose a little bit mid-corner, just a little bit, you're still actually suffering for that for a long time afterwards. So you've got to carry every little bit of speed around the corner as you can. You're actually punished more for a mistake in this. You miss a gear and it's cost you a lot more than would missing a gear on a superbike.
I tell you, it's interesting though, just looking at Correa, he loves that really wide line there going through turn 6, that right-hander.
But that works. It's different lines on these. It's a little bit wider. It's basically the same apex point, but then you open the throttle and let the bike run wider and wider and wider. You don't square the corner off, because you square it off, the thing just sits there, doesn't accelerate.
Oh, Lucas Brown dives to the inside at 11. Decisive and clean for the number 29, the rider from Bolney.
Yep, he looks a big lad on that bike. Bolney is down between Brighton and Crawley, apparently just inland from Brighton.
Did you know that sort of place existed? It's so far down south?
No, I didn't. I need a passport. I mean, I've got it with me, so we're all right.
Emmanuel Brinton there had a look to the inside of Julian Correa, but no room at the inn for now. Tell you what, it's going to be exciting to see how this one plays out. That final corner is tricky. It's caught out a few riders so far in other classes this weekend.
Come to grief there. Yeah, and it's a weird little corner. I just remember I've run her in here once, and it was a lot tighter in general than I thought, but especially that corner.
Top 3, almost 3 wide.
Oh, hang on.
We've got a rider that's gone down the road. That is, looks like Peter Willis, unfortunately, who's had a problem. And crashes out into the ground.
Oh, hang on.
There's a couple of riders gone down. Josh Bannister there as well. On board the Fiverr Tech
Yeah,
Honda.
number 2 got that.
Final corner.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous place to go. We might get a red flag here.
Probably be a high side out of the last corner. It's really important to get out of there, so you're keen on getting on the throttle.
Yeah, we have got a red flag. I did think we would.
Yeah.
Samuel Munson, the other rider that's involved, airbag's gone off. And on lap 4, the race is suspended then with Josh Bannister, thankfully, up on his feet.
Yeah, it got to be done. Josh Bannister's got to be attended to, but also you do wonder, not so much with these bikes, they don't leak as much oil, the engines are a lot small, they carry a lot less oil and fluids and coolant, but you've got to check the track, you've got to have time to do that, and to keep the marshal safe, obviously red flag was best thing.
Yeah, this is Samuel Munson walking away. Let's have a look and work out what happened here. So Bannister on the inside, Munson on the outside.
From where it was, I think it's an high side.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
And they just
that's
connect
the
together.
thing. Yep. That's typical last corner before a straight stuff because did you get it?
He's lucky.
Yeah,
Very
lucky lad. The problem is with a corner like that into a straight, especially with these low power bikes, you have to carry as much speed out of that corner as you can. Therefore, you're desperate to get on the gas. You crack the gas, the bike's on the side of the tyre. Watch. There it goes. You close the throttle, and that's not a huge slide, but it kicks, and you've nothing left.
Oh, he's going to tumble dryer his way over there, isn't he, as well? Munson just nowhere to go on the outside.
Yep.
And, well, you can see the result of that. And
Yep.
It's going to be a heavy hit on the head here for Bannister as well, isn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
clobbers the back of the helmet.
New helmet required there.
Yeah, and Munson there just on the outside. I tell you what, the riders did a really, really good job of avoiding
Missing each other, they did, yep.
Yeah, it was heart-to-mouth stuff there for Bannister at one particular point. One of the other riders just further back coming through and splitting his way between the bike on the left and Bannister on the right.
Yep. Well,
I've been in that position on the track day before. I've sent it down the road. You've got other bikes streaming towards you, and I tell you what, nothing gets you to your feet quicker than that.
yeah, if you can. Yeah,
That's the problem.
you know, he'd had a real thump on the head there. But like you say, if you're anywhere on track with following traffic, you're in danger.
Well, but thankfully both riders up and okay. There is Josh Bannister just on the right-hand side of your picture, chatting away to the marshals and the medics here.
Well, I tell you what, that is a sort of a graphic demonstration of when you're younger, you bounce pretty well.
Yeah, also a good demonstration for getting a good lid as well.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Always get a quality lid.
Well, you know what they say?
No, I don't actually.
10 bob head, you get a 10 bob helmet.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
You don't even know what 10 bob is, do you?
No idea.
50p.
Oh, okay, right. I'm glad you cleared that up. Yeah, we don't have that down my way. It's all champagne and caviar down south, mate.
It is for you, I know that. I know how you roll.
Into pit lane then for the riders. Now reset time. This is Emmanuel Brinton. So what will happen here is the riders will be in pit lane. We'll wait for the signal from race control. Confirmation the race will restart over 8 laps.
Yep.
The grid restart will be as of lap 4. So that'll be Lucas Brown on pole position, Julian Correa, Emmanuel Brinton, Philip Soroviak will be your top 4. Then Mason Foster, Clayton Edmonds, etc. The race will be restarted, but it'll be a quick restart procedure. So what will happen is the riders will go out of pit lane, they'll do a sighting lap, line up on the grid. One team member will be allowed with them. They're on the grid for about a minute or so, just checking everything's all okay. Then they'll clear it, and then we'll get ready to go, but not before, of course, the track gets cleared.
Just looking at the youth walking away there and sort of thinking to myself how young he looks, and for a lot of the riders in this British Talent Cup, this is their first time on what you would call a proper circuit, away from the mini bikes and the kart tracks. And can you imagine coming to a better facility with your NSF 250 Honda?
It's mega, isn't it?
It's just brilliant.
It really is. It's such a...
I mean, he's probably not thinking that it's brilliant now, but it is. It's just lovely for him.
Yeah, it's a lovely facility. Great to see the fans here as well. You know, some people have made their way over from all different sorts of places. There's a chap I understand that made his way from Stockholm. It took him 3 days to get here.
Yeah, but he's having a Spanish holiday as well.
I was wondering if he was walking it 3 days.
You'd think you'd do it. It's a long way.
It is.
If he's come over land.
Yeah, listening to the Proclaimers walking 500 miles or something like that. So Clayton Edmonds' bike now here with the RS City Lifting racing team. Ryan Saxelby's outfit, of course, many years in Moto Star before this, and now here in the British Talent Cup. There is Clayton just on the right-hand side of your picture. A confirmation from race control that, as we said, the grid will restart as of lap 4. There'll be a restart over 7 laps. There's Carl Ryde in the middle. 8 left, sorry, rather, I beg your pardon. There's Kyle Ryder in the middle, just having a chat here to Philip Sorowiak.
Yeah, Kyle Ryder is just into his motorbikes. He instructs on my track days, but he brings some track bikes of his own, and they're not all big bikes. He started off on 125s. And he's so into his racing, so it'll help these younger riders.
I tell you what, a lot of riders, they love riding these smaller CC bikes just because it's good fun. You'll see them training on pit bikes and that sort of thing.
Kyle Ryder has one of those 700 R7 Yamahas. Real low power bike, but he loves it.
Yeah, good fun. Just see Ryan Vickers working his way through shots. So we're waiting for confirmation of the restarts. We're waiting for confirmation of when we will get the restart underway. Pit lane will open at 10:53. So in just about 4 minutes local time, we'll get racing action back underway. Pit lane then is open here at Navarra, ready to go again for the second running of this race after the red flag. It'll be 8 laps of action for the riders. Before we get this one underway though, James Whittam caught up with Emmanuel Brinton earlier on this weekend to find out what he's expecting for the 2024 British Talent Cup season.
Emmanuel, you are now the last man standing, or the highest man standing from last year's championship, so a little bit of pressure on you to perform, but you're doing it.
Yeah, obviously it comes with a bit of pressure, but I'm just trying to focus on myself, work by myself and on the track, and just find my rhythm and pace, and just try to do as good best as I can.
Compared to some of the lads in this class, you're a big fella now, but what, half a second quicker, more than half a second quicker than everybody out there?
Yeah. Obviously, I try and use it to the best I can, use it to my advantage in the corners to wrestle the bike round. And honestly, on the straight, it is a bit of a disadvantage, but I can make it up in the corners.
You've done some racing in Spain in the past. Would it be fair to say you know this place a little bit better than some of the people you're racing against?
Yeah, I raced it 5 years ago in the ESBK Championship in Moto 4, and it's where I got my debut podium in Moto 4 category, so I would fair to say I like it a lot. I like the track, but obviously it helps knowing the track, and I'm just using it to my advantage.
Where are you going to go after this year? If things go according to plan, you won't be in this championship next year. What is the plan?
Well, now I'm doing British Talent Cup and European Talent Cup, and the aim is really to go into Junior World, and obviously, if I can, Rebel Rookies as well.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, domination there planned for Emmanuel Brinton. Nice chap. Love Emmanuel. I was saying to you a few minutes ago, I commentated on him years ago when he was on mini bikes, and it's lovely to see how he's been progressing.
Exactly, and nice family as well. Family with him. Most of these lads have at least one or two members of the family with him, some more. Some it's the annual holiday, I get the impression. But yeah, his mum and dad are lovely.
It's funny that they end up basically taking their holidays in Britain after living in Spain. It's a bit of a downgrade, isn't it?
Yeah, we're all coming the other way.
Yeah, can't rely on the weather up there, can you? Well, Emmanuel Brinton makes his way round to the front of the field. He'll be starting at the head row of it. In terms of, from a rider's perspective, you've had that red flag. How do you get yourself back into the zone?
I've never found it a problem. It's quite easy. You know what you've got to do. If you've had a good start and been in the leading group of the first one, you think, right, same again. What happened? What did everybody else do? Right, I'll do that again. And if you didn't, it's brilliant because you've got another bite of the cherry. It's they won't have a problem at all. They'll still be focused. Still got a job to do.
Well, there is Emmanuel Brinton. Third on the grid it will be for the number 43.
Yeah, tarmac scarred leathers. Been off 3 times this weekend. One big one where he took a couple of people with him yesterday.
Yeah, thankfully all up and okay
yep.
Following that one.
Absolutely.
Now the riders are on the grid waiting to go. This is the quick restart procedure, so they have one team member on the grid. They are there for a very short period of time, as you can see, and then they'll head off on their formation lap, and we'll get the 8-lap race underway. It'll be Lucas Brown who heads the field in the Sencat Talent Team Honda machine. New livery on that bike for this year, nice and distinctive, thankfully for us here in the comms box. Julian Correa alongside, and then Emmanuel Brinton on that front row as well. Then you've got Phillips Ferroviat, Mason Foster, and the second of the RS Racing bikes, Clayton Edmonds. Green flag flies then. Formation lap is underway for Mark 2 of the second race of the weekend for the R&G British Talent Cup. Of course, minus Josh Bannister and also Samuel Munson, which brought out that red flag. There is Charlie Huntingford on the Motor Technics bike. He was having a really good run actually inside the top 10.
Oh no, was it? He won the Bunsen burner that was wiped out. Oh, was it?
Yeah, I know. Oh. Well, they always say that. I was going to make a flame joke there. I can't finish the analogy. I have no idea where I was going with that, actually, to be honest with you. Anyway, back to the action.
I'm lost.
You and me both. Let's have a look at the grid, shall we, for race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup. The rerun then. So, Lucas Brown, Julian Correa and Emmanuel Brinton on the front row of the grid. Phillips Ferroviat, Mason Foster and Clayton Edmonds on row 2. Row 3 is Ryan Frost, the elder of the Harris brothers, Ronnie in the 8th position, and then Charlie Huntingford on the outside. Row 4 is Harley McCabe, Oliver Walker, and then Harrison Mackay. Row 5 is Ben Jalif, and then the number 16 of Jack Burrows with Alexander Rowan for company. Further down the order, you've got Dan Goodman, George Bowes, and then the number 12 of Tyler King. Row 7 is Eli Banish, Josh Raymond Jr., and the number 11 of Ewan Jones. Row 8 is Bill Harris, Azir Devine, and then the number 28 of Charlie Barnes. Row 9 is Rahesh Khatri, and then Scott McPhee. Of course, we will not have Samuel Munson making the grid. Likewise, Josh Bannister will also not be there. And sadly, we lost Peter Willis from the last running of that race, as well as a separate incident down at turn 12. Thankfully, all riders from the race 1 incidents all up and okay and on their feet, ready to get on the way for this restart. For the rest of the field, though.
Yep, no issues with tyres when they've had a restart. The tyres tend to last quite a long time with these. Not a lot of power, so compared to superbikes, so they don't rip the sort of edge off the rear tyres. They not limited on tyres. They're on Dunlops, they're slicks, and they can use what they want. Generally, over a weekend, a rider will use probably 4 or 5 tyres, a couple of fronts, 3 rears, but there is very few tyre issues in this class.
Well, there's Lucas Brown ready to head to the front of the field then.
Yeah, nice kid. Chatted with him this morning and his family. Spends a lot of time in Spain. Like I said, he does a bit of rock climbing and training and cycling with the World Supersport round winner Kyle Smith, a family friend of mine going back years. Crackers is Kyle in a good way. So a fairly good, if slightly dangerous, role model for Lucas.
Well, quite. There's no man more brave than Kyle Smith, that's for sure.
That is true. I've never met one yet.
Anyway, let's see what happens then. There is Emmanuel Brinton. Just to his right is Julian Correa. Then it is Lucas Brown who heads the field. 8 laps of action. Time for take 2 of race 2 for the R&G British Talent Cup. Eyes on the red lights. Revs are rising. Lights are out. Good start from the head of the field for Lucas Brown. Not such a good getaway though for Emmanuel Brinton. He drops back behind Julian Correa as we head down towards the first corner. Soroviak's made an absolute lightning start and leads the way on the RS City lifting bike in towards the first corner. So is he going to be able to hold on to that lead for too long, because the rest of the field are filtering their way through turns 2 and turn 3. This is where it now all begins to bunch up. Not such a good start there for Clayton Edmonds. He's mired in the middle of the pack on board the number 64 from the second row of the grid, but thankfully everybody made it through, and it's Soroviak that leads from Brown.
Yeah, great start from Philip Soroviak. Yeah, mega launch, and that was just off the launch she got that.
Yeah, lovely stuff there for Philip Soroviak. But Lucas Brown's ready to try and pick his pocket as they come through turn 7 on the brakes in towards turn 8. It's going to be all about the exit out of this corner and the run down the back straight then. Soroviak, of course, is pushing the hole in the air for everybody else, and that is going to be a bit of a disadvantage in terms of the straight line speed. But Brown, we saw him struggling with straight line speed, and Correa is looking to his inside at turn 9. No room at the end for now, though.
Yeah, slipstream is such a massive, important feature in the... and that's Correa going up the inside of Brown. It was a clean move, but there again, there's a switchback. Can he hold the curb? Yeah.
Opportunity knocks here for a few riders as well that have just dropped off the coattails of some of the other fielders. Thinking about the likes of Mason Foster, Ryan Frost, Charlie Hunting, but also in the mix there as well.
That's what I said. You said, how do you cope and prepare yourself for a restart? Well, actually, there you go. Foster, exactly a case in point. You get another go, and he's made the best of it.
Well, let's see whether we get Foster fighting for the podium. You can see already that Soroviak is beginning to push on at the front of the field. Of course, fewer laps in this race means fewer opportunities for riders to break away in those splinter groups as we've seen. Soroviak trying to pull the pin already though, building up a little cushion there over Lucas Brown, but as we know in the British Talent Cup, things can change and often do as we head 3 abreast down towards the first corner. Brinton there with the outside line, Correa on the inside on the Microlice Cresswell racing machine, slots himself into second. On the brakes into 3 we go. Brown just keeping a watching brief on proceedings. Mason Foster on the white and fluorescent yellow machine. Then Brian Frost, Charlie Huntingford also not far away there as well. Slightly wide there onto the green.
That was a big exit onto the trip onto the green there for Lucas Brown.
Yeah, we've got to be careful of that as well. We saw Mason Johnson actually in the BMW race yesterday.
Yep.
He got denied
Put down
the win.
place.
Yep, denied the win. Got demoted to the
First to
position.
second, yep.
As a result of that. So too many of those indiscretions, and the stewards will be taking a closer look at things. But the first bite at the cherry there for Lucas Brown, nothing really too much to worry about. You see the rest of the field as they funnel their way down this back straight. Soroviak there coming under pressure, but look at Correa. Whoa, slides his way on the inside.
Oh,
that was tight.
Do you know what? As soon as we saw him disappearing off screen there to the left, I thought, has he got that stop? Because he didn't look like he would.
Yeah, that just looked a little bit too chaotic, and that's a warning sign there for Julian Correa. Needs to just get his ducks in a row a little bit more at this stage. Not have too many more moments like that, because you don't get many opportunities to put them right.
Well, you kind of on a wing of prayer. You're going up the inside. There's going to be someday that you either hit or don't, and that's a little bit of luck that you go through a gap that you didn't intend to.
Good starts to this race as well for the number 16 of Jack Burrows, and also the number 11 of Alexander Rowan. They've made a good few positions, likewise George Bowes as well. Clayton Evans hasn't had such a good run. You can see him there down 6 places from where he started.
Yep, Jack Burrows, kid from Cookstown in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, lovely lads.
He is, yeah, he is.
He is.
Yep.
They're all lovely though in this in the Talent Cup. They're all really approachable, nice lads, and they all get on. That's what we love.
Yeah.
So, Emmanuel Brinton, it is now that leads the way. Fastest lap for him, or slightly wide there in the background for Ryan Frost on the Fiber Tech Honda. Part of that squad for this year after being a part of his own team. You can see Julian Correa, he loves pushing the front end of that motorbike.
He's good with the front.
Yeah.
He makes most of his moves from the front. Here comes Filip Seroviak. That's it. Once you try a move, you've got to then back out of it if it's not going to work.
Yeah, Seroviak could just be watching what Correa and Brinton are doing in front of him at the moment and just working out the right opportunity to pounce. Lucas Brown now towards the back of this group as well, as Mason Foster has got himself involved on board the number 88, the rookie. And he's finished 4th in the European Superbike Championship, so the Spanish Championship, so he might well have experience here.
Yeah, that's a man 4th on the white and fluorescent yellow bike. He's no mug, that kid, you know.
No, he's certainly adapted very well. I wonder what it'll be like when he comes over to the big British circuits, though, because I tell you what, Cadwell's a bit different place compared to this one.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I mean, it is. It's a completely different nature of circuit, completely. And actually, British Superbike goes to that many diverse circuits, learning them and getting to grips with all kinds of circuits is part of it.
And the thing is, at this age, well, riders are like sponges. You know, they go out and within 6 or 7 laps, they've got the knack of that circuit. Pretty much.
I mean, some riders learn circuits quicker than others, and that's even adult ones. But I guess you have a better chance when you're young. You seem to learn things going a bit quicker, don't they?
Well, they certainly do. As we come across the timing lines, begin the halfway stage of this restarted race then. So Brinton sitting in second. You can see there Seroviak just putting his knee out down the start-finish straight. I wonder if he was just trying to not get past Brinton. Yeah,
just trying to slow himself down with a little bit of a knee out.
Yeah, Brinton doing the same actually into the first corner. So it looks like it's a case of after you here, because Brinton did the same thing into one.
Yeah, it was a bit odd. I mean, obviously not intending to pass if that's what he did.
All angles and elbows there for Brinton at the best of times, given he's such a tall lad.
Yeah, one thing to see about these smaller bikes, it's really important to get tucked in as soon as you can coming out the corners, and it's a very distinct kind of move. You'll see them and in this sort of tuck, and as many times and as often, and as even on the really short bits of straight between the corners, you'll get tucked in if you can.
Ollie Walker's having a good run of this one as well on board the Fiber Tech Honda. He's now up inside the top 10 in 7th place, made a good few places from where he started down 11th on the grid, now up into 7th. Let's see if he can make any further forward progress. He was racing with the Steve Patrickson team last year, then moved over to MLAV squad and seems to have found a nice home there.
Yeah, Steve Patrickson, after years and years, in fact, pretty much all his adult life, started racing at 14, did Steve, a Yorkshireman from Bradford. Won British Championships on 125 and 250 himself, and then got into running a team, and it's the first time he hasn't had a presence in the British Championship paddock, even before it was called BSB for years. He's spending a bit more time with his family apparently.
I tell you what, it's critical though. We get these teams, like Steve Patrickson, like Ryan Saxelby,
and
like
Cresswell,
and so on. They love the fact that they are able to nurture the talent and bring them through.
And the one theme between the lot that connects them is all the team principals. So Ryan and Steve, and they were all racers themselves, always.
Yeah, and they know how important it is at this entry level, if you will, to show that support to these riders. As Seroviak takes the lead away from Julian Correa at the start of lap 5. Does Correa repay the favour? No.
He had a little bit of a look, didn't he?
He certainly did. Fastest lap for Seroviak last time around. Tell you what, now he's found a home with RS Racing for this year. He looks like a completely different rider. He was there and thereabouts last year, but just getting himself involved in the team effort.
Yeah, we sat down with Emmanuel Brinton on the deck chairs, chatting and smiling and all this sort of thing, looking at the phones, and were the two of the people, along with Foster, that were involved in that horrendous crash yesterday.
Yeah, he would have been a bit like a bull in a soft play area after that one, I'm sure, because it brought his 16 consecutive point finishes run to an end.
Yeah.
Down the back straight we go, though. It is Seroviak that leads the way.
Yep. Seroviak, as the name suggests, is a Brit-based Pole, mum and dad. Both Polish, nice family, living in London now.
Yeah, lovely family. Went and remember chatting to them last year, and they're so welcoming and so hospitable.
I'll tell you what, looking at his dad, you wouldn't spill his pint, would you?
You speak as a man from experience.
I've been on the receiving end, not of him, but of various people. Generally self-inflicted. I normally caused it.
Well, I'll make sure to be a bit careful in the bar later. Down the back stretch we go. Seroviak still holding firm. I tell you what, he's looking quite commanding at this point, is Seroviak. Just in terms of the way that bike is moving around underneath him, looks all in control. You can see, especially in this last sector, he looks really strong, and that, come the end of this race, could pay dividends.
Yeah. Jury's out for me yet.
Well, still early days, still plenty of the race left to run. You can see the group behind there as well. You've got Ryan Frost, Ollie Walker, Charlie Huntingford, Ronnie Harris, all in the mix as they come across the timing line. There they are, and this is exactly what we're used to seeing in the British Tank Cup, these splinter groups. You can see how they just sort of filter away into their own little battles, and that's the thing, it doesn't matter really where you look up and down the field, there's always close racing in classes like this, especially given the fact they're all on the same bikes.
Yeah, slipstreaming helps that. In the old days, I started my career on 125s and 80cc bikes. Slipstreaming really important, and what you do, you get out onto the straight. If you knew you had a following group, you'd actually jink to one side and then jink quite quickly. You'd sort of weave down the straight to keep people out of your slipstream. That was really, really dangerous. I saw some horrendous crashes where you weaved right into somebody who was level with you that you hadn't seen. So it's kind of frowned upon now. It's actually it's not allowed, and it's quite right.
Well, we nearly saw that yesterday, didn't we, with Brinton versus Brown?
That was a different thing. That was Brown trying to get into the slipstream of Brinton. Trying to get in after somebody's come past you. That's a different thing.
Well,
but still be dangerous.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I tell you what, they're all just keeping themselves pretty calm at the moment. You get the impression it's all beginning to sort of bubble up. It's going to kick off in the next couple of laps or so, isn't it?
I still think Julian Correa is looking to get to the front of this. Goes out wide on the entry, trying to get a quick run out.
This is a little bit further back. This is Ryan Frost with teammate Oliver Walker there as well. Or Ollie Walker, I should say. I don't know whoever called him Oliver in his life, actually. But they're in 6th and 7th place. Charlie Huntingford on the Motor Technics bike just behind. Then you've got Ronnie Harris on the second of the RS racing machines. Different livery compared to his teammate Philip Seroviak, but all run out of the same team and the same outfit.
Yep.
In towards that left-hander we go. And they just sit nose to tail with one another for the time being. Do you wonder whether the two Fibertech Hondas are going to be working together at this particular point? You can see there just a look over the shoulder for Ryan Frost.
In my opinion, no. I wouldn't have thought that. I think it's every man for himself at this point.
Yeah, no surprise there at all.
Emmanuel Brinton got a fresh engine for this one. Ryan Saxby was telling me that it's obviously done a mileage. Hey up.
Oh, Correa to the inside. Does he run it slightly wide?
He's kept it going. Yeah, good move.
Beautiful. Well, that's a good start to the penultimate lap then for Julian Correa. The thing is, what he did yesterday was he kept himself out of trouble. He was really careful. Oh, Brinton with a lunge. That was brave into 5.
Brave, but not quite a lunge. And then he's kept it going round into 6. Really nice move, that. Like I said, he's got a fresh engine. Expect it to be a little bit fresher or sharper on the straight, should I say. So that might serve him well once he gets to that big straight.
Yep, Correa then now leads. Let's have another look at this move here for Correa. Dives his way to the inside.
Yeah, he got to where he needed to be, though. There was no, Philip Seroviak could see him. It wasn't an half-hearted attempt, that.
No, managed to make it stick, and good confidence on the front end there for Correa, as we've said throughout the entirety of this race. Don't discount the likes of Mason Foster as well, who's about half a second or so off the back. If these guys start duffing each other up, that'll bring him right back into play with just under a lap and a half now to go.
I think Emmanuel Brinton's just fancying a bit of a go at this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I reckon he's going to be on for a bit of an overtake here as we come in towards the last couple of corners. So through to the left hand, you want a good run through here. I don't think he's going to go for a lunge. I reckon he's going to try and use that slipstream and maybe launch something into the braking zone of turn 3.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah, that's why we've seen him look quite strong.
Saying that, still a bigger lad than Julian Correa.
Yeah.
He's in the slipstream, though.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Yeah, Let's see whether he's going to be able to make this stick as we come across the timing line then to begin the final lap. It is Brinton on the back of Correa as we come in towards the first corner. Is Brinton going to try and go for the outside line into turn one? He thought about it but decided against it. Correa sets the fastest lap then as we come in towards the braking zone of turn three. No opportunity there for Brinton, for Serowiak, for Brown, or indeed for Foster to attack anywhere at the moment.
Yeah, it's basically all the same fastest time. He's just got the quickest by, and that's chuff.
Into the left of turn 5 and 6 we go. So Correa holding firm for now. Oh, look at Brown there trying to challenge Serowiak for third place. Fast part of the lap. Correa loves that wide line through there, carries good momentum through the right of turn 7 that follows, and then into the braking zone of turn 8. It's all about the exit of this corner.
Correct. And the exit of the last corner, more importantly.
Yeah, let's see what happens then as we head in towards the braking zone of turn 9. So Correa under pressure from Brinton. Is Brinton going to send it to the inside? This is where it all went Pete Tong yesterday, and no move made there on this occasion.
A little bit defensive by Correa there, and that's cost him a little bit of time in the corner, you see.
Yeah, that might allow an opportunity here for Brinton to try and attack through to the left of turn 11. We've seen a few riders crashing out in other classes, but everyone making it through on the final lap. Nose to tail action. I tell you what, Brinton, he really fancies a piece of this, doesn't he? And Serowiak's not out of it either. Here comes Brinton, looks to the inside, into the right-hander. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. There's only a couple more corners left after this one, and it's advantage Emmanuel Brinton. But is that going to put him on the back foot? Correa's going to try and challenge. He looks for the outside line, which is going to switch to the inside at the final turn. Here comes Julian Correa.
Going to cost him time coming out, though.
Yeah, he's going to compromise his exit. It's going to be a drag to the line once again for race 2. It's Brinton versus Correa. Keep an eye out for Serowiak in the background. Who's going to get the drag to the line with 3 abreast? As we come to the checkered flag, and Philip Serowiak takes it by 77 thousandths of a second from Correa and Brinton.
I tell you what, I've never seen him touching handlebars like that a couple of 3 times. You see that. That's between Correa and Brinton.
That was one of the most spectacular races in the R&G British Talent Cup that I can remember. Serowiak takes it by the smallest of margins. Correa gets Brinton by just 2 thousandths of a second as well.
They were locking handlebars the whole way down, and they were so concentrating on each other.
Yeah, that was absolutely mega. Well, Philip Serowiak, he was 10th overall. Yeah, 10th overall in the championship last year. Took a win at Donington National. Opens his checkbook with a phenomenal victory. Look at this. So these two, Correa and Brinton.
Watch. They touch. Look. Touch again.
And look at Serowiak. Do you see the shake of the head from Serowiak?
Yeah.
No, you guys carry on.
That then. Yeah. He mugged him.
Picks up the pieces. That was mega. Philip Serowiak, the Polish rider, takes top honours here ahead of Julian Correa and Emmanuel Brinton. Wow, fantastic. His first weekend with the RS Racing team, and it is top honours. Emmanuel Brinton there. I think he'll be pretty happy with 3rd place, but nonetheless, the victory was within reach, and it looked as if he was going to be on for it, but as you saw him banging handlebars there with Julian Correa right when it mattered, it denied him a chance of taking the checkered flag. The good thing is they've got another race to come this afternoon. I tell you what, if it's anything like that,
I love that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He's replicating Mick Doohan's riding style on this final lap now as well as Serowiak. Tell you what, it's a fair effort to get the front wheel up on one of these.
Basically, the lower part of the bike, the more difficult it is to do a wheelie. I mean, it sounds obvious that, but just to keep them as well, you've got to be really near the balance point, which is obviously more difficult.
Yeah, they're all pressing on their mountain bikes in the paddock normally.
Yeah.
Well, Philip Serowiak makes his way into Parc Fermé then. Let's have a look then at the results from the second race of the weekend for the R&G British Talent Cup. Of course, we had a red flag which curtailed proceedings. It was an 8-lap restart with Philip Serowiak taking it on the line from Julian Correa and Emmanuel Brinton. Lucas Brown in 4th place, Mason Foster in 5th. Great finishes there for the Fibertech Hondas with Ryan Frost ahead of Ollie Walker. Then Ronnie Harris, Charlie Huntingford and Clayton Edmonds completing the top 10. Jack Burrows and Harrison Mackay just outside in 10th and 11th and 12th place rather. Jalif, Rowan and Bowes complete the top 15. Dan Goodman there missing out on points by just a few tenths of a second on the 3rd of the Fibertech Hondas ahead of Raymond Jr., Peter Willis and then Scott McPhee completing the top 20. And in terms of the championship, Well, it'll be interesting actually because, of course, Soroviak didn't score yesterday. Likewise, Brinton didn't either. So here is how it sits. Julian Correa has a 12-point advantage after finishing second in that one, ahead of Lucas Brown and Ryan Frost. Philip Soroviak in fourth place, ahead of Clayton Edmonds there, just 6 points separating those two riders. He in turn is just 1 point in front of Ronnie Harris and Emmanuel Brinton. 7th place for him, so an opportunity for more forward progress this afternoon will certainly be nothing to turn his nose up at, ahead of Mason Foster, Harley McCabe and Ben Jaliff. Further down the order, Charlie Huntingford with a good top 10 finish on the Moto Technics Honda. He'll be pretty pleased with that. Dan Goodman's also got some points here so far this weekend as well. And Eli Banish, of course, took points yesterday in the opening race of the weekend, sits 21st and currently last in the standings. Well, there is Philip Soroviak on the City Lifting RS Racing Honda. A victory at Donington National last year. And it was always going to be a case of what potential might be able to be unlocked for him this weekend, in his first weekend. And he takes the win.
Philip, an incredible way to win here at Navarra. How was it for you?
It was mega. I was just waiting till the final lap, and then I just got the drive and slipstreamed them to the line. It was great.
Better taste sweet after how the race went down yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday I got taken out of second, but I knew I had the pace. I was up there, and I showed it today with a win.
Well done, mate. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, huge congratulations there to Philip Soroviak, the British-based Polish rider, as he takes top honours in race 2. Very much looking forward to race 3 as well. It seems to be that at this circuit at least there are about 4 or 5 riders who've really got an advantage and are able to run very similar pace to one another. So I wonder what it will be like this afternoon, especially when it gets a little bit warmer as well, because it's about 12 degrees, 13 degrees there and thereabouts at the start of the race here this morning. This afternoon it's expected to be sort of early to mid-20s. Hotter temperatures at the circuit and probably hotter temperatures on the circuit in terms of the racing as well to be expected. There's Manuel Brinton, just to give you an idea of just how tall he is there as well. He absolutely dwarfs Julian Correa. Mind you, to be fair, Philip Soroviak, not exactly a short lad there either. And now we wait for these 3 riders to make their way on to the podium. And of course, Correa actually the only rider who has a repeat podium following the win yesterday, and then 3rd place here this morning as well. Other than that, it is all change at the top, with Soroviak ahead of Emmanuel Brinton, the 2 retirees from yesterday, following that big collision that we saw down at turn 9. Thankfully, no such dramas here this morning for race 2. Emmanuel Brinton then on to the podium, 3rd place for him. Bit of silverware to take back to the awning. 2nd place there for Julian Correa. See, he's not had his new leathers made in time, so he's got one of the Michael Cresswell racing jackets on. But Philip Soroviak opened his account last year at Donington Park and continues to make deposits with a victory here in Navarra on the RS Racing Honda. I think he'll be pretty pleased with that, given that he was down and out yesterday through no fault of his own. Now time for the trophies to be presented. There it is, 3rd place for Manny Brinton. 2nd place for Julian Correa. 2 races and 2 trophies so far. Will he be able to make it 3 from 3 this afternoon? And Philip Soroviak then, a new team for him in 2024, and it is the top step of the podium here after race 2. Well, let's have a look at highlights then, shall we, from race 2 of the R&G British Talent Cup. We saw Julian Correa starting this one on pole position. It was always going to be pretty fast and frenetic down towards turn 1, but look at Philip Soroviak here, trying to slide his way through on the outside as they all managed to filter through the first couple of corners. We saw exactly what we had yesterday, a splinter group at the front comprising of about 4 or 5 riders, which had Emmanuel Brinton, Julian Correa, Lucas Brown, and then Philip Soroviak involved in the action, and likewise Mason Foster to a point. This is what brought out the red flag in the first running of the race, a big high side for Josh Bannister. Samuel Munson with no room to go. The red flag was out, both riders thankfully up and okay. Once it restarted, it was always going to be faster predicted because, of course, fewer laps in the race. We saw Soroviat taken to the front, but we also had a dive to the inside for Julian Correa. And as we came towards the final couple of corners in the last lap, it was Brinton versus Correa to the line, or so we thought, until Soroviat picked the pocket of them both to take his first win of the year.